Good afternoon. Yesterday afternoon at approximately 5 p.m., the first tornadoes began to cross the state line. As I watched those tornadoes cross the state line, we noticed also in Mississippi a number of supercells that had the potential to develop into tornadoes. We saw as this group of super strong cells approached the state of Alabama, we felt at that time that we were going to be in a very difficult situation in the state. Approximately 5 o'clock, I made the decision to declare a state of emergency for Alabama. I spoke with our EMA director, state EMA director, Art Faulkner, and told him of my decision to declare a state of emergency. Because of the fact that we had to stand the Emergency Operations Center up and allow everyone to get in place, we decided to time that at approximately 7 o'clock last night, and so that was the timing of it. That's when we started the state of the emergency. Yesterday's storm caused significant and widespread damage in our state. We stood up the Emergency Operations Center at a level 2. At that time, this did not engage our federal partners because we did not feel that we needed them at that time. However, as we look at the damage that has occurred over the last 24 hours and the potential damage that may occur today, we have decided to elevate that to a level 1, which will include our federal partners, our FEMA partners. What we're going to do is in the near future, soon, today, we will be asking for a federal emergency declaration from FEMA. This allows the federal emergency aid as debris removal and emergency protective measures to be put into place. It also allows FEMA to provide supplementary assistance for required emergency measures to save lives and to protect property and public health and safety in the affected Alabama counties. This also allows FEMA to identify, mobilize, and to provide at its discretion equipment and resources necessary to alleviate the impacts of the emergency. We have 3 confirmed fatalities in the state of Alabama, 2 in Limestone County and 1 in Tuscaloosa County. And may I say that our thoughts and our prayers are always with the families who are dealing with loss of a loved one as we're seeing in this situation. We have 19 counties reporting damage, everything from structural damage to homes and buildings, and structural damage to trees and to power lines. And with any disaster, it's always hard, though, to find a bright spot. But if we're looking for a bright spot, one of the things that we need to look for is the fact that we had 65 community safe rooms that were commissioned and put into place during this disaster. We actually have funded and have begun the preparation for 400 community safe rooms. This money is coming from mitigation grants that was given to us after the 2011 tornadoes 3 years ago. We have 4,000 individual safe rooms that have been built. So many of our people were prepared, and so many of the community safe rooms were used. At the present time, we have over 200 state personnel working this disaster. We have commissioned and activated our National Guard. Our first responders, though, have been our Department of Public Safety, our local law enforcement officers, and other first responders across the state. But our National Guard also stands ready to assist, and they're already beginning to assist. There are 3 shelters that are currently open. Limestone County Central Church of Christ, Bessemer Civic Center, and New Harvest Church in Jefferson County. Now, this afternoon, we have potentially another line of thunderstorms that are coming this way. We have been briefed 2 to 3 times already by our National Weather Service. Our National Weather Service says if the weather warms and we have a higher humidity in the state, as they suspect may occur, then a line of severe thunderstorms will begin to develop, and we're watching that at the present time. They're more concerned, I think, with portions of the state that are somewhat more south than what we had yesterday. But if humidity increases, this could include all of the state of Alabama. If you want to help today, we ask you to, of course, be careful and always regard our public safety people and make sure they tell you exactly what to do and where to go. But if you want to help, certainly help your friends and your neighbors. Make sure they're in a safe place. Make sure they are moved to our community safe rooms or to your safe rooms if you have one. But if you want to actually give money, we ask you to donate, of course, to your charities that help with disasters like this. But we have a charity that really has helped this state, and it's the Governor's Emergency Relief Fund. This money has been used to pay for the 25% that was not paid for by most of the counties. It helps pay for the safe rooms across this state, and that has already saved lives. You can donate to www.servealabama.gov, and this money will go directly to help with safe rooms across this state. I'm going to go ahead now and call on our EMA director, Director Art Faulkner, and let him continue to update you on this. Then I will come back up and I will stand for questions. Art?
Thank you, Governor. As the Governor mentioned, we do have another potentially dangerous storm system that will be moving into the state of Alabama this afternoon and into tonight. As a matter of fact, the National Weather Service in Mobile has issued the first round of tornado warnings, tornado watches in the far southwestern part of the state, and those watches probably will continue throughout the evening and move further on into the state. So our citizens are urged to take precaution, to have a plan, to know what to do when the National Weather Service issues severe weather alerts. Have a plan on the places that you're going to go, and in areas where damage has already been received. It is that much more important to know what you will do in those areas. You need to contact your local elected officials or your local EMA to identify the closest available safe rooms and shelters that will be available to the public throughout this duration of these storms. And just as the Governor has activated the State Emergency Operations Center to remain on alert and activated throughout the remainder of the threat of these storms, he has also activated all 7 of the state's emergency response division offices throughout the state. This will enable those first responder agencies, that some of which you see represented here with the Governor today, to provide immediate assistance to our local first responders and to our citizens. One of the things that I would like to point out and to remind you is that oftentimes with these storms that come through, even when they're not necessarily severe, is that we can have down power lines. And anytime that you are in the vicinity of a downed power line, you need to treat that power line as if it were still energized and stay away from it and contact the appropriate officials to take care of it. We remain ready, as does all of the local officials throughout the state, to continue to assist our citizens in whatever manner that we need to assist them to get through this event. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Art. Do we have any questions? Yes, sir, Phil.
Governor, you mentioned the community safe rooms that have been built at the mobile home park in Limestone County where the 2 people died. There was a shelter there that a lot of residents went to and were safe. Did that by any chance happen to be one of the ones that's been built since the April 2011 tornadoes?
Art, can you answer that? I know one in New Harvest was built, and it was full, and I'm not sure if this is one that, do we know?
Governor, we don't know, but we do know that a number of shelters were built in Limestone County as a result of the 2011 storm.
We have approved money for 400 community safe rooms, and we know that at least 65 were activated last night. And I want to tell the people across the state, check with your local EMA director because they know where the safe rooms are. Be sure and let's be prepared tonight. We're not obviously we're not novices now with tornadoes. This is a situation that we've gone through before, and we have made, I think, great strides and great preparation since the 2011 tornadoes. And these safe rooms are some of the things that we've been able to do. And the 4,000 individual safe rooms, I think, are significant also. Mary?
With the federal declaration, when will you know something about that? How does that process work, and how soon could you see help?
Well, we're actually developing that at the present time. We're drawing that up at the present time. I will sign it. Our EMA director will sign it. We will send that to the president. There are other states that are doing similar things right now, Arkansas and Mississippi, and so we'll be part of the southern states that are applying for that. And this is an emergency declaration. It's a little different than what we asked for in the 2011 storms. It's not quite as to the level that we did in the 2011 storms.
Governor Bentley, are there any parts of the state that were hit yesterday that emergency responders haven't yet been able to reach, or have emergency responders reached all the areas that have been hit?
As far as we know, they have reached all levels that have been hit. And of course, there's a lot of damage there. There are a lot of trees that are down, power lines are down. There are still people without power. But they're making a lot of good progress. And what we'll do is wait and see what happens tonight. Well, they'll continue to work. Obviously, right now we're in a search and rescue mode. We're in a life-saving mode right now. And all roads are open at the present time, and so we'll just see what this next line shows. What I intend to do is I'm going to let this line go through. I'm going to look at it tomorrow. I'm going to be visiting parts of the state that have been damaged.
Will you be monitoring the storms from the Emergency Operations Center, or will you be here in Montgomery?
Well, I have not decided if I will be there tonight. I was there last night. And we will make that decision on whether or not we need to be there tonight or not. It will depend a lot on how things develop. If it looks severe, yes, I will be there.
As far as
Mary?
the 19 counties that are reporting damage, can anybody talk a little bit about where some of the most severe damage was? I mean, was it the limestone?
The most severe damage was in Limestone County and Jefferson County. We had some in Walker County, had some in Tuscaloosa County, had a tornado in Tuscaloosa County, had one death there, and we had some damage in Lee County. Can you think of any other counties that were as severe as those, Art?
Those are pretty much the major ones.
Okay.
Governor, you mentioned a life-saving mode and search and rescue mode. Can you elaborate on that a little bit? Where's that going on now?
Well, what we do first is we make sure people are safe, and that is our primary goal when something like this strikes in the first few hours. We worry about we want the roads open and things like this, but the first thing you want to do is to make sure people are safe, make sure that people, if they are injured, they're taken to the hospital. If they need to go to the hospital, are taken care of in that way. So that's what we do the first few hours. natural disasters have different phases. Your first phase is to save lives, and that's what we've been doing these last few hours. But then we'll worry about the debris and that type thing.
Governor
All right.
Bentley, what do you think that, steps that people should take to prepare for the storms that are coming up?
The event tonight.
Yes.
Okay,
tonight.
the event tonight now will be very similar to last night.
Right.
And first of all, they need to listen very carefully to those who, our newspaper people, our news media people, what you do every day, what, our television, our meteorologists do a fantastic job. Our weather radios are so important. Our weather alerts, which are free now because of our track commission. And so they need to take advantage of that. They just need to be vigilant and watch. They need to make sure that they have a safe place to go, either in their house, make sure they have the helmets that we've talked about. But the most important thing is if they can get to a shelter, that's where they need to get to. Last night, I got home last night very late, in the middle of the night. I was called and said there's a tornado right over your house here in Montgomery. And as most of you know, that occurred last night. And so I and all my security went down into the basement. And so, we were there and prepared. And but it's a matter of being prepared and knowing where you're going to go and listening. And watching our meteorologist and listening to the radio, listening to our weather radio and this type of thing. So just being prepared. I think people in Alabama are very prepared now. We understand tornadoes. And so I believe that minimum lives are lost because of the preparation that took place. After the 2011 tornadoes, I set up a track commission, Tornado Recovery Action Council. And they made 10 recommendations to us. And we have already put into place 10 of those recommendations. And one of those is this radio that you can get free. You can get an app that will warn you. But, so preparing, each time we go through this, we need more preparation, and we get this.
Governor, what else can the state do to help out folks? What are some of those things that haven't been enacted yet?
Well, some of the things deal with building codes and things like this that have to go through the legislature. But certainly the easy ones we have put into place, and we've made sure that and I think they have made a difference in these tornadoes.
Governor, what steps can people take to sort of recover from the damage that they received? Do you have steps that they can take from that now? Or does that need to be a process that you have to work on?
Well, many times debris removal is done on a local level. Cities and counties do that. We will have to wait and see, as far as that's concerned, whether or not we meet a threshold. But the most important thing right now is just emergency responses. And certainly, we have a lot of volunteer organizations out there that are willing to help. Our religious organizations, the Red Cross and people like that are willing to help. Most important, though, are neighbors helping neighbors. That's more important than any organization or any government out there is a neighbor helping a neighbor. And so we need to look after each other. All right, thank you all very much, and let's be safe tonight. Everyone, watch the TV, listen to the radio, make sure that you are prepared tonight. And if we get through tonight, hopefully this line of storms will be past us. So thank you very much.